All over the world, scientists try to improve the efficacy of cognitive behavioral therapy for anxiety disorders. And in one brand new study, they try to figure out whether it makes a difference where you pay your attention during an exposure therapy. So they had 48 females with anxiety of cockroaches. And one group was told, during the confrontation, during the exposure therapy, try to focus only on the cockroach. And this is quite common during exposure therapy, that people are told, try to focus on the feared stimulus. And don't distract yourself, because, for example, if you begin to mind wander or if you look out of the window, you won't run through this therapeutic experience that even though you were looking at the stimulus and you paid attention to the stimulus, your fear went away. This is what psychotherapists call habituation. You begin to get used to the stimulus. Another group was told, okay, try to pay attention to the cockroach, but also pay attention to your inner feelings, to your distress, but don't try to fight it. So this was a somewhat acceptance-based approach, which we can find in ACT, the acceptance and commitment therapy. What do you think? Which of those groups, on the one hand the external focus group and on the other hand the internal and external focus group, which of those groups later on did better in an behavioral approach test? So which group was more able to face their fear, to approach the cockroach even more? Which means that they, for example, were able to touch the cockroach, to help hold it on their hand, whereas others maybe were only able to touch the cockroach with a pencil. The results showed that the combined group did best. This group, in which they were told, focus on the feared stimulus, but also focus on your feelings, focus on your distress that you feel and accept it. This group later on in a second test, in another surrounding, was more able to approach the cockroach. So what does this study tell us? It tells us, just like other recent studies, that it's not so much about habituation during anxiety therapy. It's not so much that you have to focus on the drop of fear, but you also have to focus on the ability to cope with your fear. Because those participants who also had to focus on their distress probably experienced stronger that they can cope with the situation in spite of their fear. And this was probably a self-efficacy booster to see that you can handle these difficult situations even though you feel inside quite distressed. And as I said, this could also be shown in other studies. For example, in a study with people who were afraid of heights, it could be shown that those participants who were not only told, okay, now go to a higher place and face your fear, but also to run towards the railing and, for example, also run towards the railing with closed eyes and to run towards the railing backwards. Of course, in the end, they were stopped by the psychotherapist. But all these exercises helped them to realize that even if the fear is really strong and if you are afraid of heights and you have to run to a railing with your eyes closed and you make it, this is a really strong experience. And therefore, whoever tries to face his fear should not also be concentrated on or wait for the drop of fear, but also should try to be able to experience strong fear and to make it nevertheless. I hope you enjoyed this research, and if you want, we will see you next time.